Gregor, mentally, you steel yourself through all of this. This is like, it's just non-stop screaming in your head, but...
I'm used to that.
Yeah, I was gonna say it. I'm like, Gregor, you have dealt with screaming, dying monsters before. This is nothing new. However, for the remainder of you, this call and this cry goes out, and you feel it resonate through your soul, Marcus. You, more than anyone else, you get a picture of the universe. You understand the horrifying construction of the planes for just an instant. You see the world that you occupy right now, little more than a hairline fracture. And towering above it, you see the heavens. And above that, you see heavens stacked upon heavens as far as the eye can see. And you see a single eye watching from the very top of it. And then your vision blurs. It begins to burn in infernal hellfire. You see the area below where chaos gives way to order, and things fade into absolute oblivion, and your mind cracks. Your demon form disrupts for a moment, that order giving way to chaos and fear. You hit the ground, your entire body feels vile. Mercy, you feel a deep resonance as your gaze is wrenched to the heavens above, and for a moment you comprehend the sheer enormous size of this angel, the one that this being was cut free from in the world above. You understand how big it was, as large as the sprawling hills, the fields themselves. It was woven from the fabric of that world. But something clicks with you too. That was a world of angels, not a world of gods. You understand that that was just another step in a long cascade up above it, and you peer beyond the angels, and for a second, you empathetically understand what they feel. You understand the fear that they feel, these gigantic beings beyond comprehension. You understand what they have to be afraid of, the beings looking down on them, and your mind cracks as well. Harlock, you clamp down mentally, all of the chaos and the weight of your homeland bubbling to the surface, and you know what to do at a time like this. You immediately start reciting different equations, different mathematical formulas. You keep the thoughts out of your head. Your body hunkers down, you fall fetal, you hit the sand, and you sink in it.
Oh no. Bye.
So
Holy shit.
Everything is now going to shit around you. The sand in the tower is beginning to wave and wobble. Gregor, looking at this boss, looking at this creature, you know it is severely wounded, but it is thinking again. It is an individual again. However, unlike your companion Granola, this one seems entirely maddened by its experience, and you gain a moment of clarity, looking between the two of them. Right, okay. Tracing these connections, Granola was bound up in a body that was not already occupied by a being. That is quite literally an alchemical, sleeve created for it. However, this chaos that's radiating around you are the desperate and maddened cries of that body's original owner. Basically supercharged by angelic influence. This thing in front of you is just a pure exposed nerve of suffering, and that radiates off it in waves. For context, reminder again, you just witnessed the full size and scope of the universe, and for some reason, you were the first one to get up after that. You're like, yeah, Marcus, tell me how you're feeling.
Not good. I can barely see straight. Every time I close my eyes, I start to see the layers of infinity, and I feel more and more unhinged. But keeping my eyes open isn't much better. The glare coming off of the sand is like staring straight into the sun. keeping things in perspective is almost impossible. My balance is completely shot. I'm stumbling and can barely keep myself standing, but somehow I'm able to lunge forward and unleash an Underdark blast right at this thing's chest, with literally no thought behind it, only savage instinct.
Savage instinct immediately manifests as something about your calling. As this creature of order bubbles to the surface, you let out a silent call as you dart forward as another aberration on the material plane stands before you. And you have a bizarre moment of clarity as you move forwards. The Underdark blast burning in your hand as you close in on this being in front of you. You have a strange realization. Right now, fully manifested, twisted by powers below, you are closing in, and you do close in, on the very person that, should you have submitted to the very life you were brought up for, this is likely the person you would have served. Yet, he's been stratified one layer as well. One world above. The first king stands before you, and all that's left for you to do is to grab the blast, plunge it into his chest, pull the invisible trigger, and let it detonate. You do so without hesitation. The eldritch fire begins to lick away at the core of his body. Unable to properly stand or reprise the action, he reaches out a hand and tries to manifest some sort of angelic magic of his own. But...
Slap it away.
You slap it away! Yeah, you slap it away. He looks positively offended at that. Apparently, there is some sort of vestige of the relationship between you two still glimmering behind those empty eyes. It seems like he was just slapped by one of his servants. This look of bewilderment quickly fades away as he looks down and starts to look at the rainbow fire manifesting in his chest.
Gregor was able to avoid that psychic attack and seeing all the terrible things that lurk above him. Through willpower and also the searing pain that racks his brain from looking at this aberration with his bread brain. In a cold sweat, he steels his nerves, gets to his feet, and sees that it's now kind of on rainbow fire. He contributes by activating his glaive's enchantment and thrusting it into the chest of this being. The blade heats up and starts spewing fire, adding to the blast.
You plunge the glaive straight into the first king. The enchantment pairing well with the flames already there. You easily slice through the great being in front of you. And in doing so, you are pin-cushioned by the wide variety of wings and pokebits lifted aloft and then slammed onto the ground. You bounce once and then come to a rest on your back, blood pooling around you.
Mercy kind of shakes her head a couple of times because that was a horrible experience, but now she has an understanding of who the true enemy is, and you see that she reaches up, seeing that the person that can fire this isn't here anymore. She crinkles the barrel of the cannon to grip it like a baseball bat and tears it off of her shoulder. You have wounded our country, you have slain comrades, and you have threatened my family. And I know you could see me right now, so here's a message to your god. I am Mercy only in name, and she will bring it down as hard as she can on top of the open wound.
You deliver the strike, leaping into the air first and bringing it down with a large clang. The entire head ducks downwards with the full force of the blast, hitting the sand and producing another layer. Inian pulls Harlock free.
Oh.
Inian pulls you free with a pop, Harlock.
Thank you, I thought I was dead.
What do you do?
I have to reorient. I have to reorient myself and see what's going on. So after parsing through the math that kept me sane while I was buried under the sand, I noticed that Mercy is holding the cannon like a baseball bat.
Yeah.
Mercy, just turn it a little bit to the left.
I really fucked this barrel, though. Oh, don't tell my kids I said that.
I won't.
Yeah, she'll turn it as best as she can.
And what I assume, because the apparatus that is keeping it anchored is probably going to send this cannon flying into the distance after the shot, but she is going to fire one more shot into this wound.
With an eruption of force and fire, the cannon flies to the side, ripping the air apart behind it with a sonic boom. It hits the first king before pinging into the distance, flying end over end at a pace that would instantly paste any creature. It flies off and creates a twinkle as it disappears from sight. Behind, the very first experiment of this first king lifts their blade up again and again, just laying into the now prone form, reducing that body into a mush, slicing end over end, and then once again, the hair begins to spread across the ground and all of those eyes flare open. Mercy, you can save one person from this.
Oh no.
Marcus is pretty fucked up.
Yeah, I think Mercy is gonna die for Marcus, and even instead of just tackling him, she's also gonna just like grab him by the leg and just whip him as far away as she can just in case.
Wow.
Okay, so.
For those at home, that's called a dragon screw.
Oh, cool.
So, all of the eyes open up, and Marcus, you see an imitation of one of your own techniques immediately. Eye beams lance across the battlefield, flying through puncturing pinpoint holes in both Harlock and Gregor. Mercy, you pick up Marcus and toss him across the battlefield. Marcus, your wings flare open in midair, and you manage to gain stability. It's your go.
Mercy just looks back. I knew it. Too fast.
I think that Marcus, in the ensuing flurry of action, has come back to his senses to some extent, and realizes that when he last lashed out, there was this brief moment of recognition between him and the former prince, and seeing that the king is in bad shape, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Seeing this, I think he's going to ready an attack, but then decide on a different course of action.
Oh.
Drifting, just kind of gliding lazily back down towards this creature. He comes out of his demon form.
Oh.
The inky shadows flowing and dripping off of him like skeins of oil-slicked black water. And just kind of approaching the king with no sense of malice in his heart anymore, at least in this moment. He reaches out, touches the face of the creature, and attempts to sink his hand in as he did when he traveled through the walls of the fortress beneath them, and attempts to speak to whatever warped fragments of the original mortal body of this creature that still exists. Oh, also, I think Marcus, by the way, while he was gliding, yells like, "Thank you so much, Mercy!"
Yes, danger is this way. Why are you coming back?
I had a thought.
I trust you. All right, go for it.
Probably shouldn't, but I really do appreciate it.
I got your leg again. I'm going to throw you.
Don't do it. Please don't do it.
It's called a dragon screw.
It's
I knew
true.
this person. A what?
Harlock told me.
Dragons don't use human tools.
Oh, I think you say they don't screw.
They do screw.
Dragons don't exist.
That's a weird stance to take.
Wait, is that real?
You know, that's actually a matter of quite considerable debate. But we don't have time to get into it.
Marcus, you forge a rapid connection to the first king. And in doing so, you are pulled somewhere else temporarily.
Marcus takes a deep breath and prepares for what might be the greatest performance of his lifetime. Putting a beaming smile on his face, he bows deeply. My prince.
He, turns around. seeing the fire, and he, points to it, honestly, with a sort of confused hand. Mr. Valafi, is that you?
Of course it's me. I mean, I am your personal valet. You've been working hard. How can you not recognize me?
I'm sorry, it seems my kingdom's fallen to shambles. I've fallen to shambles.
Now, you... Don't say such things. You've made a mistake, but you don't need to let it define you. And what is shambles today can be regrown better and stronger tomorrow.
He, looks back. Fire even licking away at him here. The rainbow blaze has spread very much to this being's core, and he is being undone in the same way that all things are by your magic, Marcus. There is very little that you can do for him at this point, except say words like this. It reminds me, actually, that I think I read something similar in a book in the palace library.
Really?
Yeah. It was, an illuminating tome. My father's chief valet was so concerned about collecting all of them. He turns away and looks back at the fire for a second. Honestly, they took a turn for the body very frequently, but I found no small amount of encouragement in the words. No matter how ridiculous things got, no matter how silly, disastrous, or chaotic they were, it always contained a certain sickly sweet undertone. I don't know what to call it, but he turns around and offers you a somewhat pained smile, the fire now spreading to the base of his robe. I think they call it hope, despite how ludicrous or miserable things got.
As good a term as any.
He offers you a genuine smile.
Marcus smiles back. You can put your burden down for now, my prince. Take a rest.
Yeah. He sits down, crossing his legs, letting the fire spread a little more quickly. I think I will.
It's been my honor to serve you. Marcus bows deeply again.
And then you feel a spark travel through. You get the feeling that up until this point, this man wasn't seeing you. He was likely seeing your father. He was likely seeing everything that your father performed in the palace, his role, and the role that you were promised to, honestly, by your family's birthright, a high honor. But in this moment, the fog slips away. Chaos recedes, even as the fire intensifies. And he smiles at you, eyes pinching shut. I was really afraid, you know? I didn't know exactly how to thank you, but I think in no uncertain terms, those books saved me. He offers you a smile as his entire body burns away to nothing.
Marcus puts one hand over his eyes and tries to hide the tears.
Back in the real world, I'm pretty sure you guys have reduced this thing to mush. Harlock, you planning a bomb?
Yeah. You care pass me the second bomb, please?
Kier's like, the bomb or the bong? I removed the bong from the bell.
I could take the bong, too.
Okay,
It's not called a bong,
it's
it's called the clapper.
Here's the bell bong.
Okay,
Here's
here's the clap bong.
The clap bong and the bomb, you got them all?
Okay,
Is this a stand-up routine?
I feel like I've lost the plot. What are we doing?
Blowing this
we're
thing up!
We're gonna blow this thing up, and then everybody hold on to me. I have a bad idea.
What is your idea? Am I able to help?
Harlock, there's not a lot of you to hold on to.
Just grab onto something. It's on you. Somebody grab Gregor.
What happened to all my blood?
Well, you want to ride that out of here?
You see Granola straining against the bell. You hear a loud wrenching noises. Granola flies over with the bell again.
Holy
Kershong!
shit, Granola, you're a champion.
There is a wave of sand that just emits, and she like looks at you expectantly, Harlock, and then at the bell, and then back at you, and then back at the bell.
This is a better idea.
All right, well, while you're getting everything organized, Mercy is going to run around, dig her fingers into the metal, and create handles so people have something to hold on to so they're not flying around the bell.
That's genius.
Did you guys kill it?
Oh my god, Gregor, are you all right?
Hey, Gregor, it ain't moving no more.
I think it's on its way out, yeah.
Okay. I can't feel my extremities.
Oh no.
Let's get that taken care of, yeah. Marcus gives one last sad nod at the corpse
The
of...
hunched over figure sits now bracing the bomb to its chest. Honestly, of all things, it's not the dignified way that a king would go out. It's not the merciful way that one would show to someone who you want to reduce the suffering of, but honestly, based on the content of your last conversation, and based on the favorable opinion this individual seems to hold of your novels, this is the way that you'd write something
I wasn't
out.
expecting that. Fuck.
Clutching a bomb, burning away, and exploding gloriously. Yeah, it's spot on. You all hop into the bell, and with a heave, the entire thing lifts into the air, and you all are born free of the tower. Okay, everyone, you ready for this? You're gonna have to cover your eyes and ears if you still want them after this. Okay, ready? 5, 4, 3...